is World Population and Food Availability by Gabrielle Mitchell. Food availability is becoming a major challenge in our world. The percentage of population increases while the percentage of food supply decreases, threatening the global food security. As food security rises, we have to tackle this challenge now so that we don't have to worry about generations decades from now. The global food production must increase. In order to increase global food production, pest and food management must come into play, and we need to direct our focus on the climate change and biological interactions. The two key fundamental resources that we have are fertile land and water. They are often affected by the environment and technical development. In order to maintain our food growth system and maintain it for it to be beneficial for our health, we must pay close attention to the food consumption, food security, and potential resources that will benefit our land. Aiming our direction towards improvement, we must tackle the food security challenge by understanding the past and aiming our direction towards improvement. Behind the food security challenge, each and every year as the population increases, food production decreases, and food scarcity begins to rise. Feeding the population is more or less a challenge for various countries, but as time elapses, feeding the world's population will begin to become the challenge that frightens all in reference to starvation. What exactly is it behind food security challenge that we have to tackle? Well, according to Porca's journal reference, she pertained to the idea that global production is expected to reach 9 billion people by 2050. Noting that 2 billion mouths will be added to the world's population, we have to maintain food supply to feed all those mouths, which means food production will have to drastically change. Food consumption plays a major key in the way that world population and food availability is accessible. In many parts of the world, the resources that we benefit from, such as water and land, are being overexploited, and this enhances the focus on the way we currently use our natural resources. I chose to demonstrate the food scarcity between two countries, America and Africa. I have inputted two photographs that will demonstrate the food scarcity between America and Africa. These two photos will demonstrate an obese American and a skinny, starved African. These photographs also ensure that food consumption of America intakes lead to obesity, while individuals in Africa deal with the complete opposite. They have limited consumption that often leads to starvation. In this photograph, there is a little American girl who is obese while she is eating a hamburger. You can see that this food consumption that she intakes is not all that healthy, all not that beneficial, and most likely will give her health disparities in the future. Next is a photograph of a skinny little boy. This little boy, rather little boys, are having to deal with starvation, and this is extremely sad to me. From their arms, from their stomach, to their faces, you can see that they have to deal with starvation in the horrid way. Them having to beg for food, not getting 3 meals a day or the nutrition that they need, later on leading to health disparities or even worse, death. This is a very extreme. Not only is food consumption a main asset that we have to focus on, but so is food security. As the food security challenge begins to grow, and as we rely on food production, the worry of pesticides increase. According to S. Chakraborty, each year an estimated of 10 to 16% of global harvest is lost to plant disease. The plant diseases that we have to deal with are called pesticides, and these can affect the food we eat and harm our bodies by enhancing viruses worldwide, leading us to the food security challenge more rapidly. The last thing that we want is excessive food outbreaks. In order to eliminate pest outbreaks, plant protection professionals must work with societal change to find its key processes and influencers to effect change. This ideal will focus on the target area to maintain nutritious food for our health through this difficult challenge. S. Chakraborty also mentions how globalization is becoming worse, and as the years go by, increased temperatures are leading to increased pesticide use. Because increased temperatures, particularly in early seasons, enable viruses. These viruses can become fatal and endanger our way of living through the use of food consumption. With food production being so highly dependent on soil and water, These fundamental resources can be affected by the climate change that takes place, and this becomes a fortune out of the world's budgets, causing a dramatic decrease in wealth. If this continues to rise, the world will soon be deprived of food availability and the world will begin to go hungry. As food production being focused on the regulation from both the environment and agriculture management, intensifying the urgency for rapid change is crucial. If irritation levels increase, not only will the outbreak of pesticides increase, the allocation of water will stomp on our budget, increasing the amount of useless crops and affect human race. In order to get the best, it is substantial that we pay close attention to potential acute effects of pesticide residues. Instilling that information on the mechanisms for substantial growth and positive dietary consumption are mandatory for the safety and not the uncertainty of wanted factors. Here I have posted a photograph of two men taking action to eliminate those pesticides, and even with the elimination of pesticide residue, humans can become sensitive to these chemicals. Even though humans can become sensitive to these chemicals, it is very crucial that we find new techniques and developments to provide beneficial health care and food consumption so that we can maintain a healthy life and move forward with the generations so that we can live healthy and keep living for long and long periods of times. Thank you for listening to my presentation on the world production and food availability. Here are the resources that I have used for my paper as well as for this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.